Okay, guys, so I think that Paige helped us to work up an appetite. Is anybody hungry after doing that amazing workout? So, our next wellness expert is going to be Mia Syn, and she is nutritional and mindful eating. And I think I don't know about you guys, but I know during the pandemic, I definitely got away from mindful eating. I was just eating because I was bored. So, Mia is a national on air nutrition expert. She's been featured on Good Food Friday, on ABC Charleston, on Extra, The Doctors, Fox News, Chicago Good Morning, Sacramento, CBS Las Vegas, and the news for Jacksonville. She has daily recipes on Nutrition by Mia, so at Nutrition by Mia. She has a master's from Columbia University in human nutrition, a registered dietitian, and she is located in Charleston, South Carolina. So we just worked up a really good appetite, Mia. We're
Oh,
so
yay,
excited to have you.
perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much for having me, Jacqueline. Great to
Thank
meet you.
you. Yeah, so I'm not an amazing eater, I have to admit, Mia. So this I'm really excited about this segment. So hopefully you can have
Awesome.
a lot of information for people who are just getting into mindful eating like myself, as well as those experts out there.
Absolutely. None of us are perfect when it comes to eating, not even dietitians. We're not the food police. We like to always preface that. But hopefully, everyone can take away a little something from my presentation. And I have some fun recipe demos as well. So
Awesome.
we'll
Okay,
get
so let's get
started.
started.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Um, make sure you guys can see that. Alrighty. So you guys can see my PowerPoint.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'll just get started. So thank you so much again for joining us today. I'm so excited to be here to talk about mindful eating and nutrition, my passion. So I'll introduce myself again. My name is Mia Syn. I'm a dietitian based in Charleston, South Carolina, but I'm actually from the San Francisco Bay Area. I am a registered dietitian, but I also have a master's degree in human nutrition from Columbia University in New York. And I appear as a nutrition expert on local news and lifestyle programs across the country each week, sharing healthy recipes, nutrition tips. And finally, I run my website, which is nutritionbymia.com and Nutrition by Mia on Instagram, where I share healthy recipes, meal ideas, and nutrition tips daily. And I really kind of stick to recipes that are 6 ingredients or less, just really easy, approachable recipes, simple ingredients. And I really, whenever someone comes to my page, I hope that they can walk away with a little more knowledge about some nutrition topic or a fun recipe idea. So today I'm going to discuss mindful eating, what it is, how to do it, the benefits. I'm also going to discuss a popular movement right now, which is health at every size, that embraces mindful eating and healthy habits with less focus on dieting. And then finally, I will demo 4 easy, nutritious recipes that you can make at home. So we'll start with mindful eating. So mindful eating is based on a Buddhist concept of mindfulness. It's more of a process-oriented rather than outcome-driven behavior. And it's something that many of us don't practice in our fast-paced society, especially when it comes to eating, and food choices are endless. There's so many distractions from televisions to computers and phones, and it can make sort of this anxious kind of build anxiety around food for a lot of people, from what I've seen. And so mindful eating really is trying to go away from that. So what mindful eating involves is, number one, eating slowly and without distraction, allowing you to chew your food thoroughly. This can also help improve digestion, listening to physical hunger cues and eating only until you're full, distinguishing between emotional and physical hunger, noticing how food that you eat affects how you feel, your energy, your mood. And it really has little to do with counting calories, carbohydrates, fats, or protein. but rather tuning into your true hunger and appreciating your food. And it's also not meant to be perfect. So there are many benefits of mindful eating that research is starting to really look at. And so some of the potential benefits is number one, weight management. So there was a study in 2013 that found that people who implemented mindful eating into their lives ate smaller portions, which can be helpful for those that are trying to lose weight. And one of the hardest parts about losing weight is keeping it off. And so that's where mindful eating could be a possible benefit. Another benefit is that it can encourage healthier relationship with food. It's not meant to, no food is off limits really. It's meant to eliminate behaviors like binging, restriction, emotional eating, or yo-yo dieting, and the person chooses what and how much to consume with no guilt. It also helps to get rid of that diet mindset that is more outcome driven and focused on what to eat, how much to eat, and what not to eat. And some other benefits include greater psychological well-being, increased pleasure while eating, and finally, body satisfaction. So next I wanted to talk about health at every size. And I think that this really goes hand in hand with mindful eating. Health at every size encourages moving away from diet culture that for many has resulted in sort of a body preoccupation, eating disorders, body dissatisfaction. And so this movement is based on the idea that body size is not always indicative of health status. And so we know that practice can often lead to ineffective interventions. As healthcare practitioners, BMI is not always a marker of health. There could be other things going on. And so this movement also encourages weight inclusivity, accepting and respecting the diversity of body shapes and sizes, and rejecting the idealizing of specific weights. Okay, let's see. So overall, health at every size really supports people of all sizes in adopting healthy behaviors. It promotes balanced, flexible eating based on hunger, satiety, nutritional needs, and pleasure, rather than anything externally regulated. So it doesn't focus on weight. It also supports physical activities that allow people of all sizes, abilities, and interests to engage in enjoyable movement to the degree that they choose. And finally, it shifts the focus to acknowledging and respecting an individual's circumstances and helps them make choices that benefit their health and well-being. So that being said, so now I'm going to go into the recipes and talk a little bit about them. I think that you guys might have received pictures, at least I had shared them, kind of teasing the recipes, but I'll start with my skin-loving smoothie. So smoothies are a great breakfast option. I love smoothies because they're a great way to get in all 5 of your fruits, veggies for the day in one meal. So with this smoothie, let's see. I want to talk about some of the ingredients that are used. So coconut water. Coconut water is a great summer beverage because it's naturally sweet and it contains electrolytes. So it's a great post-workout option, or just to help replenish lost electrolytes through sweat, especially during the summer months. Spinach is a great mild tasting leafy green that really bumps up the nutrition of your smoothies. And as long as you have enough fruit, you can mask any bitterness that it might add to your smoothie. So I love spinach as a leafy green option. You can also even do rice cauliflower. That's a great veggie to add to smoothies that's mild in taste. And again, when you have enough fruit, you can mask any bitterness, but cauliflower is very mild. And then pineapple is high in vitamin C, which is important for collagen production, important structural protein in skin. Chia seeds add plant-based protein and good fats, and that just adds some staying power to the smoothie. This next recipe is my berry oat breakfast squares. I think this is my favorite one. I love this one because there's no added sugar. All the sweetness comes from fruit. So bananas, blueberries, blackberries, and it's made with oats, which are a great whole grain that you can incorporate at breakfast. Whole grains contain B vitamins, which is important for energy production. So can kind of give you that, start your day off on an energized note. Bananas add natural sweetness and fiber. Flax seeds, just like chia seeds, add plant protein and good fats. And then berries are an antioxidant powerhouse. So antioxidants may help slow down the aging process. So love to add berries to my recipes. Our third recipe is my glow bowl. So this is a great plant-based lunch option. And I really encourage my clients to go plant-based once a week, just to give it a try. You don't have to overhaul your diet completely, but just a plant-based way of eating is good for your health and for the environment. And so it's fun to try new plant-based recipes. So this is a good place to start. It's made with arugula, which is, again, a dark leafy green. Dark leafy green vegetables are nutrient dense, which means that they're high in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, while being low in calories. Quinoa is a whole grain. It provides energizing B vitamins and complete plant protein. Sunflower seeds are a good source of vitamin E, which is important for skin. And then avocado adds good fats to this recipe. And fats are important to help us absorb fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, K, and E. And those are found, for instance, in leafy greens. You'll find vitamin K. So that'll help us absorb those vitamins. And then this final recipe is actually my most popular on Instagram. And I shared various variations of this recipe. So you can make this with pumpkin or different nut and seed butters. It's made with 4 ingredients. So I think that's why people like it so much. It's super approachable, easy to make. But all it requires is sweet potatoes, cacao, but you can also do cocoa powder, unsweetened nut butter, or sunflower seed butter would be great as well, and then honey or maple syrup. And so sweet potatoes are a good source of beta carotene antioxidants, and our body converts that to vitamin A, which is important for skin. Cacao is sort of a less processed form of cocoa, so it's antioxidant rich, and you can find it at most health food stores. But again, cocoa powder would work as well in this recipe. Nut butter adds plant protein and good fats. And then raw manuka honey, that's kind of my go-to sweetener with benefits. There's a lot of research showing that there might be benefits associated with manuka honey, like antiviral, antioxidant benefits. So that's what I use in this recipe. And I think that's it. So I'm actually going to flip the camera over, and I have a demo set up in my kitchen so I can walk you through the recipes. You can do that. Give me one moment. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see me now. Okay, so I'm excited. I'm gonna walk you through the 4 recipes that I just went over. Again, all very approachable, easy to make. That's really the kind of recipes that I like sharing with my readers and clients. So we're gonna start with the smoothie. So this is the Skin Loving Smoothie, really easy to make. We have pineapple. Again, pineapple is a good source of vitamin C, mango, and I'll usually have these frozen just so it makes this smoothie more creamy. Leafy greens, you can do spinach, arugula. Like I had mentioned, adding leafy greens to your smoothies is a great way to bump up the nutrition. And as long as you have enough fruit, it really helps mask any bitterness that they might add. 1 banana, I usually add bananas to my smoothies because it just makes it creamier. And usually I have this frozen as well. And then we have our chia seeds, which again adds plant protein, fiber, good fats, and then some coconut water. So really easy. This is a great breakfast recipe that you can make, and you're getting in your serving of fruit and veggies for the day. And 2.5 cup servings per day of veggies is the recommendation, and then 2 cup servings of fruit per day for healthy adults. So this really checks three or 4 boxes. So there you go. So blend that up and you got your smoothie. So next we have my berry oat breakfast squares. And these are my favorite because no added sugar. All the sweetness comes from the fruit that it contains. So for this recipe, you're going to add your oats. It's going to be 3 cups of oats to a food processor. 4th cup of flaxseed meal. That's going to add good fats as well. All plant-based, some cinnamon, and 2 bananas. So this food processor is a little small, so I'm making a smaller version of it, but I'll show you what it looks like in a moment. 2 bananas. This is going to add natural sweetness. I add bananas to a lot of my recipes. It kind of helps you cut back on the fat as well. Bananas, applesauce, those are great. Great to use in baked goods that you want to reduce the fat. And then 1 egg. So I'm just going to blend that up. And so what you'll get is this crumbly mixture that's kind of sticky. So you're going to add 3/4 of that batter into an 8x8 baking pan. And it can be pre-greased or have parchment paper. 3/4 of that. And then I'm going to add my melted down blueberries, blackberries with a little tapioca starch to thicken it up. And I just warmed this up on the stove top just to break it down a bit. And I didn't add any sugar to that, but you can if you want to. Again, this just has no added sugar. It all comes from the fruit. And a lot of my clients will ask about like sugar in fruit, and it's not something to ever worry about because fruit is so nutritious. It contains vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. So it's the good kind of sweet. So sugar in fruit should not be of concern. So you're going to spread that out. And then I have the remaining 3/4 of that crumbly mixture. And I'm just going to sprinkle that on top. And it's just going to add sort of a crumbly look. And this is what the finished result looks like. And I have some pictures as well. And then you're going to bake this for about 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then just let it cool before cutting into squares. But this is a great breakfast option or even dessert. So just crumble that on top. And you can make it ahead of time and have it as a breakfast throughout the week, so you don't have to worry, especially on those busy work weeks. So that's a really great recipe. So next we have our glow bowl. And this again is a great plant-based lunch option. Chickpeas are the source of protein in this recipe. So actually that's what we're going to start with, is the chickpeas. So I added chickpeas to the sheet pan and I just tossed it with some olive oil, lemon juice, and salt and roasted that at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. So they get kind of crunchy. Next, you're going to toss together your salad ingredients. So we have our arugula, some quinoa. Quinoa is a great plant-based protein that's also whole grain. I love adding quinoa to salads, adds nice texture and staying power. And whole grains are a good source of B vitamins, which help with energy productions. Some avocado. I love avocado. Avocado, again, helps you absorb certain fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, K, and E. And then some sunflower seeds, which add nice crunch. It's kind of a good nutrient-dense crouton swab. So I'm just going to break up the avocado, toss that together. And then our dressing is made with tahini, a little bit of maple syrup to sweeten it up, lemon juice, garlic, salt, and pepper. And so just pour that over and toss. And this is a great plant-based lunch. We've got chickpeas. Yeah, I love roasting chickpeas because they're crunchy, again, like a nutrient-dense crouton swap. Nice and crunchy, and then add that fiber and plant protein, which is great. Add staying power. Yeah, you really don't need meat to feel full. That's kind of a misconception that some of my clients ask me, but plants have protein too, and chickpeas are a good source of that. So finally, we have, again, my most popular recipe. This is the sweet potato brownies. And these are what I call a dessert with benefits because they are made with nutrient-dense ingredients. So you're going to add your sweet potato. It's about 3 to 4 sweet potatoes that have been cooked and mashed, or you can get it from a can. And again, you can make this recipe with pumpkin puree, which is great in the fall. So add that to your food processor. You're going to add your nut butter or seed butter. When buying nut butters, you just want to make sure it doesn't have added sugar. So for this is peanut butter. The only ingredient was peanuts. So that's something to look for with your nut and seed butters. And again, I love sunflower seed butter, and that's a great allergy-friendly option. Because I know, especially like a school-friendly option, if you want to make this for your kids. We have some honey, but you can also do maple syrup. and then cacao powder, but you can also do cocoa powder, whichever one you have on hand. And then you're going to blend that up and transfer to an 8x8 pan and bake that for about 25 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Let them cool before slicing into squares. And then you have your sweet potato brownies, so your dessert with benefits. So I think that's everything. I hope you like these recipes. I hope you try them. You can find me at Nutrition by Mia on Instagram, nutritionbymia.com. I share these kind of recipes all the time that are approachable, easy to make, and made with nutrient dense ingredients. So thanks so much. See, throw it back to the host.
All right. Okay, Mia, that was amazing. So, if you had one tip for mindful eating, what would it be?
You know, it's really mindful eating is really about being gentle with yourself and enjoying food again and kind of getting rid of the noise that comes around eating and diets. I mean, it's such a space where there's so much like misinformation floating around, and that's really my goal as a registered dietitian, to cut through the noise and come from an evidence-based perspective, but just to enjoy food again and get rid of the distractions and make mealtime more special and just appreciate every moment that you're enjoying a meal and slow down in our fast-paced society. So
Do you ever, when you're speaking with your clients, do they find like one meal is easier to be mindful? Like, are they too rushed in the morning? So like maybe start with dinner or lunch, or do you ever have those conversations or tips on that?
I think a good place to start would be dessert, actually, just kind of
Ah,
like, yeah, with sweets. So with sweets, just kind of like appreciating every bite that you have of it, and just like how does it taste, like, and just being mindful when you're enjoying like a piece of chocolate or like even a slice of cake or something like that. So that I think is a good place to start. Um, but I think also mornings, I'm a big morning person, and I think making your morning just peaceful and trying not to rush, allowing yourself enough time to start the day and make a nice breakfast that you can enjoy and just appreciate every bite, and noticing how the food makes you feel, and yeah, I think that would be a great meal to start with.
okay, another question. I know a big part of mindful eating is eliminating your distractions, making sure like maybe you're not scrolling your phone or watching TV. How do you stay mindful maybe if you're having dinner with your family or you're out with friends and you're having those conversations? How do you keep mindful eating with that?
That's a great question. Yeah, when eating out with friends or family, I think it's more about the company you're with rather
Okay.
than the food. It's not all about the food, So just taking in your interactions, your family time, your friend time, and just taking pauses between each bite. And I think it's almost easier when you're with a group because you can focus on those around you rather than making it all about the food. So yeah, that I think it could be difficult though. I can see how it would be, but for me personally, I think it's easier to be more mindful when you're just enjoying those around you.
I love that. I love that mindful eating can also be flexible, and that if you are out with your friends or family and you're having a good time, that you don't have to take away from having a beautiful meal, and you can be mindful in other areas as well, which would still translate into mindful eating. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah, mindful eating can be practiced in every part of your life. I mean, whether you're in a group of people, whether you're alone, so just take it everywhere with you. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect, but it's something that you can practice with every meal, every opportunity that you eat.
All right. So one last thing, if I wanted to maybe start with my lunches, because for me it's easy to run out from the office and like get something like fast food. What's something yummy that travels well to with you to the office that would be kind of easy to make? Do you have a favorite recipe on your website that you love for that?
Yes, I love making just like adult lunch boxes. So
Ah,
I have a bunch of ideas on my Instagram, but um, like for me, I like to balance them with carbohydrates, protein, fat, because just makes me feel good, satiating, and so kind of get creative with those combinations. But right now I have burrito bowl, make ahead lunches, one of my last posts, and it's you can make in different ways. So you can use quinoa for your whole grain, or brown rice, or farro, and then with your protein, you can do black beans one day or chicken one day. And so you can kind of mix and match. And then even with your veggies, you can mix and match. So I love any variation of a burrito bowl that you can make ahead of time and just check off your boxes. For me, protein, fat, carbohydrates, and it's really satiating, energizing. You feel good after you eat it, and it's easy to make. So
Yeah, you
checks all
had
those
me at
boxes.
burritos, so I was
Oh,
I
okay,
was
perfect.
I was all in with, and
Yeah.
I saw Sky come up and say she was on your Instagram checking those out right now. So that
Oh,
is
yay.
all
Awesome.
right. And I think you mentioned I that was another thing about going plant based like once a week or for a week.
Yes.
Did you say once a week or for a week? Just so I can be clear.
Yeah, so once a week. So
Okay.
you don't have to overhaul your diet completely. I think people get a little ambitious, and especially when it comes to diet changes, but really small changes, one step at a time, really leads to lasting change. So when it comes to plant-based meals, once a week, you can do a meatless Monday, have a
What is
meatless Monday
that?
dinner, or even like this lunch that I shared with chickpeas for your protein source. And there's so many great plant-based recipes. It's kind of fun to experiment and try new things. So yeah, once a week, one meal a week, just start somewhere, and it makes a big impact on your health and even the environment, which is great. But yeah, plant-based way of eating. Plant-based foods are naturally high in fiber, which is a nutrient that almost 99% of Americans fall short on. So that's a great way to, plant-based eating is a great way to get more fiber in your diet too.
Okay. All right. So that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for sharing your beautiful kitchen too. I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm having a little kitchen envy over here. But
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun.
this was a lot of fun. We are sharing the recipes with absolutely everybody. You guys make sure that you check Mia out on her social media as well. So thank you so much.